guys, it's Beverly. Welcome to some crochet time. Okay, I got this blanket done. This is the DMC Hug This, and here's the bear. His eyes aren't really showing up that good. I wonder if I should sew in some black eyes, but because he's got that one's doing, but this one's not. And he's hugging his blanket, waiting for his new home. And this is the easy crochet blanket I did, the white waves. And I've linked the pattern below. What this is I took the yarn that came in the package, the Hug This DMC, and the yarn is really, really thin. So what I decided to do was to hold with it two strands, one strand of Bernat baby blanket yarn. I don't have the label with me because it's a 3, and this yarn from DMC is probably maybe a 2. It probably says that it's a 3 on the package, but it was just so thin and I was making no progress. So the first one I made of this was a dog, and so here's the bear in his blanket, his little legs, he's just so sweet. And then now here's the monkey. So here's the monkey, and he's got his little hands here so he can hold on to his blanket when his is done. So there's the monkey, and I'm working on the blanket for him. Now what I did was this, is I'm taking again the Bernat 3-ply and holding it with the skein of yarn that came with the monkey. And as you can see, it doesn't have a label, but it's very, very thin. And so I hold the two together, and I'm using, in this case, a J hook. And I decided, I came up with this pattern on my own. Now, the first thing I want to mention is I have this long tail. What happened was, I was going to follow a pattern, then I decided that I really didn't like it. So, I decided that it called to chain 123. So, I decided that I was going to just make the blanket 30 inches because it was coming out really long. And so, I started out and I double crocheted, and then I measured, and I wanted a 30-inch blanket. So that's what I have, is a 30-inch blanket. So I did 3 rows of double crochets. Then I did 3 rows of the crisscross. And what you do is I chain 3, then I skip the next stitch, and then I did a double. Or, wait a minute. I chained 3, and then I did 2 double crochets. Then I skipped 1 and did a double crochet, and then I came back and got that next double crochet. So what I'm doing is kind of making a border as I go. I'm doing 3 rows of the crisscross, and then 3 rows of double crochet, and 3 crisscross, and 3 double crochet. So that's what my pattern is, and I'm liking it. It's coming out good. I'm using up my scraps of this Bernat yarn, and I'm loving how it's going. The next project I'm working on is my squares for the crochet cruise. Now today is January 12th, and so we had to go on and do our check-in for the cruise. We had to order some COVID tests, and those arrived. I got those. FedEx delivered those yesterday. And so I'm holding off because we're leaving on the 26th. And according to the travel agent, we can take the COVID test at home with a Zoom appointment. And there'll be a telehealth person watch us both take the test. And then within 15 minutes, we'll have the results. So they want us to take it the 24th, the 25th, or the morning of the 26th. Well, being that we are in Florida, but we live quite a ways north of Fort Lauderdale. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to get up really early, like 3:30, and go to have one of my friends pick us up and take us to the Waffle House, because there's a bus called the Cruise Connection that will pick us up at the Waffle House right near I-75. I live right off near I-75 in Florida. And then we're going to ride on this bus down to Fort Lauderdale and check in for our cruise. So that we've got all this stuff coming up to do. So let's see what we've got. I think I have 5 or 6. Yes, I have 6 squares finished, and all the ends are sewed in, and all the borders are put on. Then I finished another square, so this is number 7, and I'm working on the border. And I explained before why I have these stitch markers, because we have to do 28 single crochets on each side, and that helps me get my count going. And so that's what I'm doing. I wish you guys, would make this blanket with me. That would be fun. You could make some squares and tell me what square you're on, and I can comment back with what square I'm on. And so that's what we're doing. So I'm gonna sit here with you guys, and here's my J hook. Thanks, Evelyn. There's my J hook. And I'm going to work on my blanket with you guys. We're going to have some crochet time. Now, with this tail hanging down, what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo this knot eventually. And I'm just going to undo this and then sew in the 2 ends, because it'll just, unthread, so to speak. I'm going to move the camera down just a little so you can maybe see. And so I'm just going to do some crochet time with you guys. So, let's see how we do here. Yeah, so I'm on a double crochet row. I got 2 double crochet rows, and then I'll be switching over to the crisscross row. So I'm double crocheting in every stitch. So yesterday was Tuesday, and we went down to Orlando, which is about 80 miles southeast of where we live. And we went to Gatorland. Now, Gatorland, they said, was one of the oldest amusement parks in Florida. Oh, let's see, my yarn's getting tangled. So I guess I'll just pause this. Okay, I'm back. So, anyway, so we had never been. We've lived in Florida for over 20 years, and we had never been to Gatorland. Gainesville's north of us. But anyway, so we went down, and it was nice. It was just quiet. I mean, the weather was in the 70s, which was nice, because we don't like to go when it's so hot. And there wasn't a lot of walking. And they had the usual things. They had lots and lots of alligators. Oh my goodness. And they also have a breeding area. And then they take the eggs and put them in incubators, because they said that in the wild only 5% of alligator eggs will hatch, whereas if they do them in the incubator, 90%. So, I mean, I don't know why they have to have so many alligators, but they're taking care of them. I was just thinking, you know, because it was kind of like in a residential, industrial type area off of a main highway, Orange Blossom Trail. I mean, what would happen if they all got out? I don't know. But anyway. And so they had iguanas and snakes, and they had different types of exotic birds, and they had bobcats, and they had a buffalo, and they had some longhorn cattle, just a couple. And they had a couple emus. Them emus are mean. They even look mean at you. And they had a very, very small petting, I don't really want to call it a zoo because there really wasn't that many animals. They had a donkey, and they had some goats, and they had 3 of those cows that have a horn on their back. Not a horn, a hump. And the guy said what was in those humps and why they had them, and I missed it when something must have distracted me. So I got to look that up and see why those cattle have that hump on their back. Of course, some of you guys may know. So, I think that was kind of it, because it really wasn't, you know, real spectacular. It was nice. It was a nice day. The weather was absolutely perfect. It was just enough walking that you wanted to do. They had a couple shows. You know, they had a guy that had a small alligator, and he was showing us how its jaw works and all that stuff. And so it was cool. It was cool. It was on the to-do list for a very long time. So we did that. And so that's what we did yesterday. And then we came home and we went to Red Lobster for dinner. Red Lobster is so good, but so pricey. But we have enough for another meal today, so then that kind of evens out the cost. Let's see, what else did we do? I placed an order with Amazon to get the hook, the S as in Sam hook for that Mary Maxim quarterly Afghan club that I got. It has, I showed that in another video. It was the retro velvet grand yarn from Premier. It's a number 7, super bulky, I think it said. So I'm going to go ahead and make it. Cheryl, hi Cheryl, or Gerald, I'm so sorry, because it's spelled like Cheryl, but it was with a J, and so she encouraged me to make the blanket, so I'm doing that. I'm going to make it out of number 7 bulky. It's going to be white. It's going to be so squishy and soft, and it's only like 36 stitches that you use, so it must go pretty fast. And let's see, I thought I was on the 3rd row, but I guess I'm on the 2nd row of my double crochets. Ooh, let's get a drink of water. I just have water. it's almost time for my 3 o'clock snack. At 3 o'clock, I have a specialty coffee, usually hazelnut with French vanilla creamer, and some kind of snack. I think I have some bread of that left over from Greek Town. Remember I told you I went to Tarpon Springs, and we always like to get their sweet bread that they have. And we cut some up and we gave some to my friend Sue next door. And so I gotta eat some of that. And then, like I said, we're having Red Lobster for dinner. It's so exciting. So good. And, oh, I'm waiting to see, when I ordered my hook, I ordered 2 activity books, you know, with puzzles and things like that. But one of them is themed knitting, and the other one, the theme of the book is crochet. So we'll check those out, and when I get them, I'll link the Amazon link. And, you know, I don't get a cut or nothing, you know. But I thought, you know, especially since I'm going on that cruise, I'm going to be riding on the bus. It might be fun just to have those books. I don't think they have patterns. I just think they have different, you know, puzzles like crosswords and word search and things like that. So that might be fun. Yeah, so I started this blanket on our trip yesterday to Gatorland. I got another row of just doubles here. And it's going pretty fast. But I truly, you know, I bought 3 of those kits. I got them, I think I got them at Hirschner's. And they're normally $19.99, and I got them for $17.99. And, I just kind of want to get them out of the house. So, I want to get these done. And I want to get my homework done for the cruise. That corner to corner is homework for the cruise. And they're trying to make it as stress-free, you know, because everybody is just so uncertain about the cruise, you know. But they're saying, hopefully, that the Omicron will peak in the next week or so, and then, you know, it'll be different. But we're not going to February 26th, and we're just hoping for the best. Now, what they did do was we were supposed to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico as our first port. But San Juan is just having so many issues. And some of the cruises that have canceled going to Puerto Rico, the reason they canceled was because before Puerto Rico would let them dock and let anyone off the ship, Puerto Rico wanted every person on the ship, which could be, depending on the size of the ship, could be 5,000 people, to have a COVID test from that day. And that is a large expense for the cruise ship. I mean, think about it. Because I ordered the test and it was $69.99, shipping included, and of course the telehealth appointment. And we have to have 2 of those, you know, one for each of us. And plus then they call back on it. And it was $69 for 2 tests. So then if you figure, okay, let's just rough it off at 30 or 35 times 5,000 people just to dock at the port, it's an unnecessary expense. Now, if you're the type of person that's going to be unhappy because you missed a port, then that's one thing. But we love the days at sea. If they end up telling us, you know, that the whole cruise we're just going to be on the boat, well, I think that'll be fine because my husband doesn't mind it, you know. I don't want to be quarantined. I want to be able to go to the crochet classes and things on my cruise. The shows are okay, but I, you know, don't really have to go there. My husband likes to go to the casino, so that would break up some of the time. But like when we went to, I think it was in 2019, because it was definitely before all of this. When we went to Hawaii, it was an 11-day cruise. And we had, what did we do? We flew to Hawaii, and we boarded the cruise ship. And then we came back to Vancouver. So after we were in Hawaii, going around the entire island, then there, I don't recall, but there might have been 4 to 5 days that we were at sea going up to Vancouver. And there was a lot of people that were upset and bored and all that stuff. And this wasn't, COVID wasn't going on then, you know. And they were just so upset that they had to go those extra days at sea to come into Vancouver. Well, they knew that when they booked the cruise, they just didn't think about it. So, sure, right now we're supposed to go to St. Kitts and St. Martin, and they added Nassau, Bahamas. Now, if we get to go to those, when we go to, oh, someone's car alarm's going off. That happens a lot in the senior community. I don't understand why. So anyway, what we'll do if we decide to get off the ship in Nassau, we'll just get a cab and go over to the Atlantis Casino. You know, you'll get a view of the island as you're going. And the casino is beautiful. And then when you get off of the boat or ship in Nassau, I think it's called the Straw Market, they have, you know, all kinds of shops and stuff that you can just walk through and look and sightsee. So that's fine with us that they added Nassau and eliminated Puerto Rico. I just feel sorry for the people in Puerto Rico that depend on the cruise ships for their livelihood. That's what I think about. You know, that's the first thing I think about. You know, so, and if Puerto Rico is an island, I haven't investigated it. I don't know if they have a high rate or they're just afraid that people will bring it in. But if you've passed the protocols that they have on the ship, to me, I think that you're okay. But anyway, so we're just going to play it by ear. But can you imagine after going through all this, and then I take that COVID test the 24th or the 25th, and then I test positive for COVID, or my husband, because if anybody in your group, you know, or in your home tests positive, then neither one of you can go, is how it works, because they figure the other one could get it within a matter of days. So, and then, so like when we went to Gatorland, I wore my mask, you know, because you're sitting in the stands watching the alligator shows and you're walking, you know. We weren't cheek to cheek with a lot of people most of the day, but I just decided to wear my mask because, you know, you don't want to chance it. Now, I just wore a cloth mask, And they are saying that they would prefer that you start wearing those N95 masks. I have some of those. I got them before we went to Las Vegas. I tried to wear it, and it just, the band on it, which holds it to your face, which is the whole point, it was the ones with the 2 ears, because some of the N95s have one that go over your head and around your neck, and those are the most preferred. But it just was too much. But I've got them. I'll take them. And I think I told you guys, but I'm not positive. They want us to make these bobbled or puffed crochet hearts. And I did. If you're interested in the pattern, let me know. There's also a tutorial from Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. And what you do is you crochet this puffed heart. You can stuff it if you want. I didn't. But they want you to make a red, a yellow, or a green puffed heart. And then they're going to give us these lanyards, I guess they're called, with our ID and our... So they want us to make these hearts, and we know that everybody's going to be vaccinated. We know that everybody's going to be boosted. But let's say that you don't want anyone to come near you. I mean, it's possible. And I don't blame you. So you should have a red heart dangling from your lanyard. And then that way, people, if they attempted to set with you, you'd have to tell them, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on my yarn again. Yeah, so if you have a red heart on, that means that you don't want someone, a stranger, to set with you, because you might have an illness, you know, and you don't want to be around other people. That's fine. And see, if you said that to somebody, they might feel, you know, threatened or think that you're rude. Whereas if you have your heart on that says that's red or yellow or green, then they'll know whether they should come near you. And of course, we're going to try to maintain, this chair is not good for crocheting, you know, our space. Okay, so now I'm ready. I got 3 rows of double crochets. Okay, 3 rows of double crochet. I chained 3 and I did 2 doubles. Now I'm going to do my crisscross. So I'm going to skip the next stitch. I'm going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. Now I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to come in between and grab that loop from the back. You can't see it, I know. And do a crisscross, or do another double crochet. And that crosses 2. Then I'm going to look for my next 2 stitches. I'm going to skip 1 and do a double crochet. And then go back and double crochet the one I missed. And see, now I got 2. And then I'm going to skip 1, double crochet, and double crochet. Whoop, see, my yarn got separated. You have to make sure that you always have 2. Double crochet in the one I missed. And you can go in the back and the front, whatever makes it comfortable for you. And you can see the little holes it made. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3 rows of crisscrosses with 3 doubles on each end. Okay, I'm going to pause the video and get my snack. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. I have my 3 o'clock snack. And so I'm just going along, skipping a stitch, double. Go back and double in that skipped stitch. And that's what I'm going to be doing here for this row and 2 more after that. And then when I get to the end of this row, I'm going to be doing 3 double crochets, 1 in each of the last 3 stitches. And so I'm just basically going to make this blanket 30 inches. So it's 30 inches by 30 inches. And let's see, what else can I talk about? Oh, so on Christy's Crochet Creations, on her live on Sunday, she's going to be making a baby blanket. And she's going to be using 3-ply yarn, and she's going to be using an H hook. So I've got some 3-ply yarn. I'm going to look and see. And I'm going to try to make her, she calls it the vanilla baby sweater, and she says you need 3 buttons. And I'm going to see, because I know I have some more of this Bernat baby yarn, and it's in a real pretty color. When I go to make a baby blanket, the only colors that sell are the pink and the blue. I've had all kinds of different colors. I had a yellow set. Nobody bought it. Nobody on Etsy. So I donated it. So pretty much I just make pink and blue for my website for Etsy and at the craft show, because nobody really buys any other colors. And then let's see, next Monday will be the 17th, so next Monday I'll be starting to organize and sell the tables for our March 12th craft show at our community. It's going to be a combination of St. Patrick's Day and Easter. And then April 2nd, I'm doing a craft show at the community center. I did one there in December and I did pretty good. And so I guess they're going to have the Easter bunny and different things for the kids. And I did pretty good. So I went ahead and I got a table for that on. You know, because you might as well. Because if you're just sitting around at home, you could, you know, sit around over there. And let's see, what else am I doing? Oh, you guys. The owl hats that I make, I put 12 buttons on each hat because there's 6 owls. Well, I've been buying the same buttons forever. The first time I got the buttons, and the buttons are used for the owl's eyes. They're not sewn in, they're crocheted in. And I've been buying the same buttons, luckily, because they're just perfect. The first buttons, I found them initially at Walmart, and they were sold under the name La Mode. You sewers will know about La Mode. And I bought the buttons and they were great. Well, I couldn't find them at Walmart. I usually buy the brown, the black, and occasionally the white ones. I couldn't find them at Walmart, but luckily I still had the package. So on there it said that they were made by buttons.com. So I ordered directly from buttons.com, which was great. And that went on for a while. I got the buttons I needed, no problem. Then, all of a sudden, they didn't have them anymore. So I found them at Michael's, the same buttons. And they were sold at Michael's under the Loops and Threads name. And when they were at the buttons.com, they were under Crafts for Anything or Crafts for Everything, probably. So at Loops and Thread, they were Loops and Thread. So I ordered some. That went along for quite a while. I was able to grab some ever so often, you know, at Michael's. Well, the last order that I made right before Christmas, I ordered 8 packages. And that sounds like a lot of buttons, because it is. It was 320 buttons. But I thought, you know, I'm going to buy these and get it over with, because they didn't have them in the store. I got 8 packages. When they came, 5 of the packages were the correct color. 3 of the packages were this milky looking color. I mean, they weren't even close. And I thought, okay, well, after I use up these other ones, you know, maybe these ones will work. But no, they did not look right against the colors of the hats that I always make. So I thought, okay, no sense wasting the money, I'll return these. And so I looked at them really close, and it had the same, you know, ISNB code or whatever the initials are. All of them had the same code. All of them said brown. But the darker ones that I wanted and used, they were all manufactured in 2016. But the new ones with the milkier, lighter color were manufactured in 2020. And it's like, what? So they changed the dye lot on the buttons. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I went on Google and I searched, and I came up with the buttons. And now the manufacturer name of the buttons, or the name of the buttons, is Colors. Colors. And so they're still manufactured by buttons.com, so I went back to the website and I ordered some, and it was just like, you know, it had been in the past. So I've ordered a whole bunch of them. I'm waiting for them to come, and I'm hoping that they are the correct color. But can you imagine going through all this for something, back and forth, hoping that we get the right buttons? It was just crazy. And I'm sure that's how it is for some of the stuff that you guys use. But when you get something you know that's working, it's the perfect size, it's the perfect shade, you know, and then they change it on you. So that was a pain in the butt. So I'm just trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to share with you guys. Hopefully I haven't bored you to tears. I'm just working on this blanket, trying to get it done. I'm trying to do my homework and get that done. So today is January 12th, as I said before, and I'm not going on the cruise until the 26th of February, so I have quite a few days that I can make the squares, and hopefully I'll be good with that. And you guys, post on my Facebook page what you guys are making so I can see and share with you, you know, your makes. And I guess that's going to be it for now. I hope I didn't bore you to death, but I just wanted to spend a little bit of time with you guys. And I guess that's all I got to do. So, love you guys. Bye. Hugs, hugs, hugs.